Oh, hello, hello, hello. Let me just check that the stream is live. I think it is. Let me make sure I can hear myself. And I can. Perfecto, muy bien. Let me just put an announcement quickly into Discord. Right, welcome to the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Here is currently going on in real life. Verstappen qualified on pole today. Piastri P2, but I believe he's been demoted due to impeding the Haas cars. Totally No Pro sets the benchmark time at 125.6. In the Ferrari, the reigning world champion will lose his championship this season, and it will most likely be to this man right here, who is on an invalid lap time. Now, dare I say, he is the world champion now. Yeah, no, he's not. Because Lucas is here, I didn't see him. He is here. Lucas sets the new fastest lap. Let me explain. I've got a few things to mention. I've got an announcement. I've got something to say. But let me just run you through how the championship's looking right now. Mikhail needs to score 2 points, I believe, to win the championship. All he has to do is finish this race, and he will. Because there's only 9 drivers. As long as he finishes this race, he is going to get at least 2 points as long as he finishes. Lucas needs to win every race with fastest lap to stop him. So we've only got 2 races left. That's the only way. And if he doesn't, game over. So if he doesn't win this race today, he can't actually afford to drop 1 point. So he only has to win 1 with fastest lap. If he doesn't win today, Mikhail wins the championship. If Mikhail finishes anywhere 9th or above, he wins the championship. Mikhail is looking very comfortable at the moment. Totally No Pro improves his time to a 124.642. Lucas into the pits. Coy's on a 124.969. He won last time out. Is he wearing the chrome helmet? Yes, he is. Mikhail, championship leader, the man who can win it today and probably will win it today. It's currently P4, provisionally P4. Rayner, 4 thousandths behind him in P5. B Chills, CL Fan, T-Bus, and Gazelle all yet to set a lap time here in San Marino. Obviously, we've been paying tribute to Ayrton Senna and Roland Ratzenberger this weekend. That's what I was trying to say. Who unfortunately both lost their lives in the same weekend here at Imola. And Totally No Pro enters the pits. So obviously the rain is pouring here, but it's still intermediate weather. Let's have a look at what tyres everyone is on, just to make sure. And it is the Inters. And let's get the gap to the leader statistic up. So yeah, 2/10. Second place is 2/10 away from Totally No Pro. Mikhail, 2 3/4. Coy's 3 1/4. Rayner over a second. So better lap times are starting to fall. So there's people. Could someone type in chat real quick? Because I don't know if my chat thing's working or if genuinely no one's put something in chat. Mikhail struggling through the track. We've seen him on a few invalidated laps. It is. Yep, thanks for that, Lucas. Good luck today as well. See the McLaren of Coy's there in the pits with no front wing. This is a really interesting angle, actually. Right, I might as well get to it. So, first thing I wanted to say is I've broken my wrist. So if I'm not too good at flicking through, these laps don't matter. Is it going to be dry? Will it dry up near the end of the session? Is that what that means, Andrew? So I broke my wrist, so if my navigation, it's not really that easy to hold my controller. My left hand's in a cast. So I'm sorry if I'm like, yeah, a little bit slow at doing some stuff today. To be fair, I can probably just whack the controller on my left leg and that should be fine. Second of all, this is shaping up to be probably the final 2 race weekends I have here at Aurora Racing League before before basically a retirement from commentary. Not really a retirement I want to do. It's not because I don't like. I love Aurora Racing League. I look forward to commentating every Saturday night. Unfortunately, the F1 games for me haven't been very enjoyable. F1 22 was terrible, really terrible. F1 23, it's been alright, but I haven't enjoyed it anywhere near as much as I did with the first F1. The first F1 that I probably got into, which is F1 2021. And I thought, when I played that was my favourite game by a mile. I put so many hours into it, and these past 2 games have been a letdown, and even if this next one's really good, I don't know. I've not heard much about it. I'm not going to spend the money again, to be honest. I could easily, but I'm just not going to, because one of the only things I actually do on the games now is commentate. I would say 90% of the hours I've got in this game are commentary, which is just a horrendous statistic. And it's a lot of money to only play the game every Saturday, and I'm not even actually driving. And that's the truth. I don't drive on this game. I really don't drive. I've got a racing setup, but I only use it for like Gran Turismo and so forth. So I don't use it on the F1 game. I don't know. I really don't have the enjoyment from the game anymore, which is sad. I will still play these games, but I'd prefer to play like shooter games like Rainbow Six, stuff like that. And at the moment, I'm not in a I don't really have anyone to play with either. The F1 games just haven't been something that I've enjoyed for quite a while now, so I most likely won't be getting the next game. Good question. I was thinking about this, and it's difficult to come out and say it. I don't know. I could see myself getting the new game maybe, and I'd love to come back and commentate, but at the moment, yeah, if I don't end up getting the game again, then it will be permanent. I'd still love to stay in the Discord server, I'd still love to have, I'd still love to talk to the people in the league and see how things are getting on, but I just can't see myself commentating. As much as I enjoy it, it's not worth spending 70 quid on. So I don't know what to say, but essentially this will probably, most likely, be, well, the last two races of my commentating career here at Aurora Racing League, and probably just for F1 games in general. Life's busy. I don't really have the time to go and seek out, a way to get paid doing this. I don't really mind about any of that stuff, to be honest. I just did it for fun, but yeah, I'm not going to spend the money on the next game. So I think it does just look like one of those where it's probably the end of an era. Don't know if it's much of an era, but yeah, end of a chapter. I'm closing this chapter, I think. I don't want to, and it's not set in stone. Maybe I'll fall in love with the F1 games again and make myself buy it, and then if that happens, then I will definitely come back to commentating. But at the moment, it doesn't look so likely. Anyway, we've still got 2 races to go. Let's get on with them. Mikhail, P3, Totally No Pro was in the chat before saying that these laps don't matter because it's going to dry up. No signs of the track drying up at the moment, not to dry conditions at least. Maybe it's a little bit drier out there on track. It's hard to tell. I don't know if the rain may be falling a little bit less. Mikhail peels into the pits. We've got the AlphaTauri of CL Fan on a lap now. We're right on board with the AlphaTauri driver. P2 currently a 124.6. Wow, that is a close gap to pole. $1,400s in it. AlphaTauri rounding 12 and 13, and on to this chicane. Rayner sets provisional pole position, fastest lap of 124.175, and it's so easy to invalidate there because you want to take that chicane as much as possible and really abuse the track limits as much as you can. It's so easy to just run over them, and CL Fan clearly isn't a massive fan of this lap time because he has aborted it. Totally No Pro exiting the pits. B Chills will be the next one then to set a competitive lap time towards 14. He goes now. We'll ride on board with the Red Bull, see how he approaches the chicane. Doesn't take too much curb on the twitchy on the rear end, and by the way, look at the ERS. Absolutely none has been used over this lap. So barely using the curb on the entrance to the corner, on the exit using loads, but the rear end really sliding out from under him, and that will most likely ruin his lap time. But he is going to go again, the Red Bull driver. So obviously times falling out. Well, it was still a much better lap time than anyone else. So the track is clearly dried up, and he retires from the session because he knows he isn't going to go for another competitive one. Rayner, did he conserve this lap? No, look at the ERS. This will be his last competitive lap time, and he improves again. It's a 123.734, but we're yet to see anybody else. There's the Red Bull driving past his teammate now. This is T-Bus. He will be the next person to cross the line and set a lap time. He's on a 151 right now. He obviously hasn't set one competitive lap time this session. So he's given himself one shot at glory. Let's see what the Red Bull driver can do. Going through 9. And then this is a really interesting part of the circuit because you can get it wrong, go wide, and invalidate a lap time right there, as the Red Bull driver nearly did. Somehow, the FIA think he's kept it in the white lines. I couldn't really tell. Through the chicane. No corner cutting there either. So the Red Bull driver, all he has is 17 and 18 to go. Then he can get his foot down, flick the steering wheel a little bit right on the final straight, which is classed as a turn 19. You'll see it now, just where we bend around the pit lane. The checkered flag is out. The Red Bull driver takes it to P3 at 124.3. Next across the line will be the McLaren of Coys. He won last time out, the first time on stream. Now at Imola, he puts it on provisional pole and by some way as well. Next across the line, it will be Reina. No, it won't because he's in the pits. So next across the line would have been Gazelle in the Aston Martin, but he has got an invalidated lap time, which means next up is Totally No Pro, except it's not, because he's got an invalidated lap time, which means it's actually Mikhail. Mikhail, P8 at the moment, he is looking to get his hands on a World Champion trophy. Could he kickstart the weekend? Right here, he could win his first championship in Aurora Racing League today. And he crosses the line. It's good enough for P2, a front row start, unless he can be denied by Lucas, which we didn't quite see, but we will see in a second. He is. Lucas takes pole. 4 tenths. Totally No Pro saying that he invalidated his lap, and if he hadn't, it would have been pole. Never mind, he said it would have been P2. Great lap time. Pulled it out the bag there, did Lucas, right at the end. Coy's finishing P2. 4 tenths though to a pole sitter. Then Mikhail, who is chasing down his first championship today. P3. Reina P4, but he is over a second to the leader. So you can see the difference in times. It wasn't really a close finish there. There was a lot of difference in her lap times there. And I think that was just generally how much drier the track got as qualifying went on. No rain though for the race. It's a bright, sunny day here in Italy. And we are here to race. Remember the conditions. Lucas needs to win this race to stay in contention of the championship. He needs to win this race, and then Mikhail needs to not score points, because if Mikhail scored points, he's guaranteed to get 2 or more, which would give him the championship. If Mikhail DNFs and Lucas wins the race, we have got a title fight to the last day. No matter how close it's going to, no matter how ridiculous it is, we have got a title fight for the last day. Is that going to happen? I really highly doubt it. Coy's informing us that the race is going to get wet later on. That could throw a spanner into the works. But we're going to 5 red lights. No formation lap for the Imola Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go. Lucas gets away well. I don't know if the drivers were expecting that, but they are away, and towards turn 1 we go. The Ferrari of Mikhail going to dive down the inside. Is he going to try and take the lead going into turn 1? No, he isn't. And he just sits. We've got a few cars running off in the background there. Lucas leads into turn 1. Coys misses out to the Ferrari driver going through the first corners. But here comes Coys. He had a nice few corners there. Everyone seems to be on the soft tyres. And we'll get the tyres set up now. Everyone on the softs except for Totally No Pro, Gazelle and B Chills. Right, looking down the order then. Reina, not a great start, losing out to T-Bus down to 5th. Totally No Pro, he's in 6th. Gazelle 7, CL Fan 8, and B Chills holds up the rear. Here comes Coys then, down the inside, going through the chicane, they make contact. The Ferrari and the McLaren make contact. There's T-Bus running it wide on the exit. I wonder what will be said after that. But maybe Lucas winning and Mikhail DNFing isn't some improbable Koi's tagged from the rear end by T-Bus. He goes around and he'll find himself down in P5. Well, that is gutting for the McLaren. And now he's under pressure from Gazelle. Going towards turn 1, it's been a chaotic start to the Imola Grand Prix. And now the two championship contenders are 1 and 2. Totally No Pro makes his way past the Red Bull, and Rayner is in the pits. Rayner in the pits, so there must have been damage there for the Mercedes that I didn't pick up on. Koi's get past T-Bus. So T-Bus rear-ended Koi's, caused him to spin. And sorry, I've still got a bad cough. And now Koi's well, his chances of getting another win to his name might have evaporated just a little bit there. But on the topic of evaporation, apparently rain is scheduled, so watch out for that. We could see raindrops at any time, because I don't know, I don't have a forecast, so I've got no idea when rain is scheduled to fall. Mikhail closing the gap down to Lucas as well at the front, so we've got to pay attention to that. T-Bus gets a time penalty for track limits, so he's under pressure there. CL Fan and B Chills now up to P7 from P9, and Gazelle around the outside of T-Bus into turn 2. It actually is not turn 1. No move there, but slow for the Red Bull, cuts right back across in front of Gazelle, and he has to brake to avoid contact. Lovely helicopter shot here. You can see how fast the cars go through. B Chills gaining quite a lot on his competitors. The Aston Martin, well, he was looking for a move on the Red Bull in front. Now he's looking to defend against the Red Bull behind. B Chills has got different kinds of race pace. T-Bus running it wide. He'll be looking at another penalty if he keeps doing that. Going through 12 and 13 now. Towards the chicane, the Aston Martin driver hasn't been able to get past the Red Bull so far, and has to just sit tight for the time being. We ride on board with the Aston Martin. We might have to flick away though towards 17, sorry. And down the inside goes B Chills, and he will take P6 easily there. Here comes Mikhail though for the lead of the race, the lead that could be so crucial for him winning his first World Championship, and he takes the lead of the Grand Prix. Still a long way to go, 28 laps, but it's looking pretty good for the Ferrari that is Mikhail right now. T-Bus has now lost out to Gazelle and B Chills. T-Bus and Gazelle seem to be having a battle there. Gazelle just losing out there, but let's see. Oh, what a move! That is capitalising on an error from the driver in front. Gazelle sweeping through down the inside. That was wonderful. I've had to clip that because that was unreal. But here comes the Red Bull again. Down the inside, makes contact. And Gazelle just about keeps it on the road before cutting in front of CL Fan. And the contact between T-Bus and Gazelle has caused Gazelle to come right across CL Fan. And that is a huge incident at turn 10. That is unbelievable. How there's not been a safety car for that, I will never know. What a massive crash. Mikhail not able to stay ahead of the Mercedes. And where he made his move last lap, he loses the position. And he's back to P2. Well, this we could see for a while, but a little bit of mistake on the rear end there for Lucas. The Ferrari of Mikhail, he was looking at it, but he knows he doesn't have to risk anything. A lot of lag actually on my end, I think, because these cars look like they're going absolutely everywhere. Side by side, going in to turn 9. Lucas keeping his nose in front. These two are fighting to the very death here. Unbelievable. But it's good, clean racing. As towards the chicane they go, Totally No Pro is reeling them in. You see two different lines there taken by the Ferrari and the Mercedes towards 17. Which way is he going to go? Is he going to go for the move? Not quite. He just stays put. Totally No Pro is sniffing out maybe a little bit of action. CL Fan has now left the session. Feel really bad for those two drivers. Here comes Mikhail on Lucas, and he's back into the lead. Lucas has got to watch out because Mikhail's teammate is right behind him as well. It's a Mercedes in a Ferrari sandwich. And he's hanging on against the two Scuderias, the Red Devils. Around the outside, Totally No Pro looking for the move into turn 9, but he isn't going to get it. Lucas just about holding on. We've got ridiculous amounts of lag. I don't know if it's coming from my end or not. Into the chicane that is 14 and 15. All look pretty even Stevens through there, but Totally No Pro is hooked onto the rear end of this Mercedes, and he's on the mediums. T-Bus, another time penalty. I've got to say, I feel really bad for Gazelle and CL Fan. They were just victims of dangerous driving from the Red Bull, I think. That's how I view it, at least. DRS for the Mercedes and the Ferrari behind him. Mikhail might somehow manage to hang on, as Lucas might lose out to Totally No Pro, but he just about keeps it. Going through, but he runs it wide onto the gravel. And he rejoins, but he's down in 4th, and he might lose out to Coy's behind him. Yes, he will. Down to 5th. Well, that was a bad set of corners for the Mercedes driver. And he needs to win this race. The rain, by the way, has started. You can see the droplets now. The track is getting damper. I wonder if that was a factor to the Mercedes mistake. Here's B Chills all over the back of Totally No Pro. Well, now it's a race of who blinks first. We've already seen Rayner and T-Bus into the pits, so Rayner knows he's got nothing to lose. He might as well risk it. Risk it? Jeez, I'm so sorry about my cough. No way through for B Chills at the moment, but he's got a history of sending manoeuvres. None of these have entered the pits. Around the outside with DRS goes the Red Bull. You can see the Mercedes of Lucas gaining on Coy's with DRS in the background there. But alas, no move being made. Rayner, is he on the intermediates? Yes, he is. T-Bus is on the full wet tyres. What is going on? So, these inters are definitely not the call at the moment for Rayner. And Totally No Pro is overtaken by the Red Bull, who is now hunting down Mikhail. The rain, well, all of a sudden it's got a lot more violent. You can see the cars flying around. Inters might be being put on at the end of this lap. We'll have to wait and see. B Chills has caught up massively to Mikhail. I think the mediums at this point have now got more grip than the softs. And into the braking zone, no. B Chills runs it very deep indeed. And then struggles getting the revs down there. DRS has been disabled. The FIA deem it too dangerous to race. And I think we will see Mikhail peel off into the pits at the end of this lap here. Cautiously approaching the pit lane, and yes, he does. I think it's going to be a trend. Everyone into the pits. Mikhail gets a 5-second time penalty. Will he serve that now? Or will he have to serve it later on? He isn't going to serve it now. Inter's on for the Ferrari. He had to wait for the McLaren. Totally No Pro's been stuffed a little bit with the double stack, but he's getting the new front wing put on anyway, so it was always going to be a slow one for him. How is this going to help Reina? He's still miles back at the moment, and he will have lost a lot of time whilst his inters were pretty slow. But now he's got the inters warmed up. I was going to say he's flying, but running it wide, he doesn't seem too comfortable in these wet conditions. T-Bus, another time penalty. Reina's on one as well, so let's have a look at what these penalties are. 12 for T-Bus, 3 for Reina, 5 for Mikhail. Gazelle, Christ, that Red Bull was dirty. Yeah, I saw that. I feel awful for you, because I feel awful for CL Fan as well, because you were just trying to get through, and he was constantly hitting you, and he crashed into Koi's earlier on and ruined Koi's for the start. Koi's is back into P2 now. I think the pit stops helped him out a little bit there. But yeah, really ruined it for Koi's at the start, and then he's basically wiped you and CL Fan out. So, sorry, I don't know what to say. I'm sorry for you, Gazelle. Yeah, questionable driving from the Rebel, to say the least. Mikhail comfortably in the lead, but he does have a 5-second time penalty. Oh well, next race is my last anyway. I think I'm getting a bit washed. I had wing damage and then you hit me into a wall. T-Bus, oh, he's in the pits. I was going to say, how is he typing when he's driving? Reina, another time penalty. He is really struggling, and Koi's struggling as well, because he's got Lucas and B Chills all over the back of that McLaren, but B Chills ghosts and Lucas comes through. No, it's T-Bus. I'm not quite sure what's going on with T-Bus, but he is in the gravel. Reina retires from the session. He retires in the pits, so I imagine he's just kind of given up. B Chills gets a 3-second time penalty for track limits. Lucas is still in pursuit of Koi's. Runs it wide though. And he's struggling, is the Mercedes driver. He's really struggling. Reina doesn't actually end up retiring the pits. He's going to pull out and stop. T-Bus, I don't know. Do you have, if you have a clip of your driving, we'll see, but it's hard to kind of argue that you weren't at fault there. Lucas still within a second's range to Koi's, obviously no DRS in the wet conditions. Well, the grid's been reduced to 5 drivers, 4 DNFs. It has been a really, really interesting race, bit of a chaotic. 2 drivers involved in a massive collision, which was caused by another driver who's just retired. Reina retired in the pits as well. Now Totally No Pro holds up the rear with B Chills, who's on a time penalty. Mikhail leads with a time penalty. We're having a whole FIA discussion in the chat. Reina not happy. Reina, can you talk us through what's happened? Lucas still struggling to close down the McLaren. now gaining a little bit more throughout the middle section. Mikhail, 8 seconds worth of time penalties. T-Bus dive bomb. Yeah. I think T-Bus is going to have a long time in the shooter's room in this race. Nine people are watching. That's more people than are actually racing. 5 drivers left out of the 9 that started. Lucas really struggling to get anywhere near Coy's now. I think the McLaren driver can just run away a little bit. I think we'll keep the gap to leader up for a little bit here. 4 seconds, Coy's gap to Mikhail, who's on 8 seconds of time, please. 5 seconds is Lucas's. 7 is B Chills, but he's got a penalty of his own, and then 11 and a half seconds for Totally No Bro. At the moment, Mikhail is set to finish P3, but as long as he finishes the Grand Prix, he wins the championship. It's starting to look much more in his favour. I mean, Rayner, you'll know best out of anyone, other than Mikhail himself, the hardships, the kind of setbacks, the difficulties he's faced whilst he's been in the league. I mean, let's say the first season I commentated, which was season 3 I believe, Mikhail, you and Mikhail went into the final race on equal points. It was Monaco. You finished P1 and P2. Now, Rayner did win that race, and I think he ended up winning on track because Mikhail conceded the position to him over the line. But what happened in that race was Mikhail basically got a time penalty. I think it was a 3-second time penalty. He couldn't break the gap from Rayner. He could hold on. He could keep Rayner behind him. He couldn't break the gap. And right at the end, he pulled over to the side, let Rayner through because he couldn't increase the gap any more than a second. And Rayner went and became Aurora Racing League Season 3 World Champion. Season 4, same thing again. Final race, separated by barely any points. Rayner did have a slight lead, and it was over him and Forrest Jump. If you remember Forrest Jump, I miss Forrest Jump. I loved him. What a driver he was. He was literally the definition of consistency. Basically never picked up any penalties, never got into any crashes, and finished like every single race. And he was there week in, week out. By doing that, he managed to get himself into a title fight, and he lost out at the end to Rayner. Because Mikhail got crashed out by his own teammate in that race. That was Saudi Arabia. Year after was another, I think it was another Rayner season, but maybe the one that got called short, and then and Mikhail had moved over to his racing wheel, which he was slower on. B Chills, by the way, he is now on the rear end of that Mercedes, who needs to win this race. So Mikhail then switched the wheel, was a bit slower, wasn't in the title fight all season. Then, and there goes B Chills on Lucas. Bad few corners, I think, there for the Mercedes driver, and the Red Bull takes full advantage, and it's slipping away now for Lucas and really falling into the hands of Mikhail. He was slower in that season. Then the season after, Totally No Pro's year of dominance, the year that broke the spell of Rayner. He ended the reign. He usurped him. Commit the regicide, I think is the lines that I said when he won the title. And Mikhail, he was nowhere to be seen in that title fight either. But this season, obviously, he's been utterly dominant. His wheel apparently broke, he moved back onto the controller, and he's been unbelievable this entire season. And he had 2 seasons where he came unbelievably close, but couldn't seal the deal. Even after he led both of those championships for decent parts of both the seasons, he couldn't put it away either time. And it's taken him so many seasons, so much hardship, the adversity, races won, races lost, championships lost on the final day, hopes and dreams crushed, a new beginning with the wheel, but it didn't work out. Hopes of ever winning a championship possibly faded, but he's come back better than ever. It's an unbelievable return, an unbelievable redemption story. And as we surpass the halfway mark in this race, it's a miracle if he doesn't win this championship. And you genuinely can't say there's anyone who deserves it more than him, because they don't. Mikhail has been there every single season, and something's got in the way. But this season, he hasn't let anything get in the way. B Chills, by the way, has been carving his way through the circuit, and he is now right on the rear end of Coys. Lucas 2.7 seconds behind. B Chills will be looking for this move on the McLaren driver. He'll be looking to go and win this race. And even as it stands, Mikhail's still finishing 4th, just due to the time penalties. But it doesn't matter, because he is going to finish the race. B-Chill's there, makes the dive, and goes up to P2, but I believe he'll have to concede that. No, he won't have to concede that position. I thought he made it off the track. Clearly not, and he will now pursue what is soon to be Aurora Racing League champion. And I wouldn't be surprised if Mikhail just let him through. Lucas needs perfection, Mikhail just needs to survive. And at the moment, only one of them is fulfilling what they need to do. Totally no pro 3-second time penalty. That will be regarding track limits. There you see 3 seconds for B-Chills, 3 seconds for Totally No Pro, 8 seconds for Mikhail. Everyone on 10 lap audiences. Coyes gets a 3-second time penalty now. Lucas is the only one without a time penalty. Well, if he can keep it that way and get relatively close to the others who might still pick up more penalties. Oh, that is a very slow moving Ferrari. What's happened here? What has happened is that there is no front wing on the front of that Scuderia. Totally no pro. Oh, he has intentionally put himself into a wall. And then there was 4. Everyone on penalties except for Lucas, who is currently last place. Totally no pro. He has quit because he knows there's no point. I mean, literally, as long as you finish this race, you are guaranteed 10 points. No, you're not. You're guaranteed 12 points. It's ridiculous. And watch out, Mikhail. Make sure you don't crash, because B Chills is right behind you. And he will just get past you whenever he can. He doesn't wait for a conventional overtaking spot. He will just send that Red Bull wherever. It's got an issue though, because he keeps running it deep. Every time we watch him, he runs it deep through that chicane. Lucas needs to really start gaining on the front runners. B Chills, well, even though that he is still set on to win right now, I'm sure he would still like to increase his lead at the front and take the lead of the Grand Prix. You can see the Ferrari in front of him. Rain absolutely everywhere. Here comes the Red Bull. Which way is he going to go? Looks to the outside, doesn't switch to the inside, and in fact doesn't go for the move at all, which is really quite unlike him. And then he puts it on the rumble strip. Those, I don't think they are soft. No, it's not soft. It is just like rumble strips, I'm pretty sure. And well, he just doesn't go for the move. The Ferrari still in the lead, and the Red Bull is actually, for once, looking for a good place to make the overtake. And I respect it, because this isn't what this is not what I'm used to seeing from the Red Bull. I was very much so expecting him to absolutely send one into turn 2. Is he going to send it into the chicane? We ride on board again. Let's see the approach. And he picks up another time penalty there. I thought it was going to happen. I did say he needs to be careful going through the chicane. He picks up another time penalty. And all of a sudden, it's not just as simple as get in front of him and drive to the finish line. He has to get in front and then make a little bit of a gap. 6 seconds of time penalty. He's Coyes on 3. He does get past the Ferrari because the Ferrari is pit. So is the McLaren, and so is the Mercedes. So fresh int as it will be, and the 5-second time penalty is going to be served. There goes the Ferrari pit crew. Full wet tyres. Right, well that'll be it then. Full wet for everyone except B Chills, the Red Bull driver. He's still happy with how he's doing. Let's put some lap data on and see what his lap time is like, and then we'll put the lap data on and see what the wet tyres are looking like. It probably won't really be that great because he will pit at the end of this lap, I'm almost certain. Yeah, very wide there the Red Bull goes. Into 11, 12, and then 13 as he flicks it left towards the chicane. Lucas still last. Only a second away though from Mikhail. B Chills, I mean, all the grip has gone, you can tell. I mean, if you just look at the gap, just dropping and dropping. It's going to be an interesting one in the pits. I'm saying you probably lose about 20 seconds here in the pits. Well, he slowed it down miles before you needed to. Beachels is not going to take any chances whatsoever. Let's watch Coys, because he is the one who's ahead of the other two right now. Wet tyres, I'm almost certain, will be going on to the Red Bull. They are on. Here comes Coys, powering down the start-finish straight. Is he going to find himself in the lead of this race? Yes, he will. Beachels, is he going to lose out to everyone on the grid? Yes, he will. So, boxing that one lap later has not helped the Red Bull, and he's got to do it all again. Right now, Lucas will win the race, but still not the title. Actually, I'm lying. Coys will win the race. Let's have a check-up on the gap to the leader. 8.8 Beachels is from Coys. 3.4 is Lucas and 2.3 is Mikhail. I'll just check again. Well, I'm pretty sure I saw it right the first time. Yes. Only 3 seconds worth of penalties for those two. Coys and Mikhail, and then 6 for Beachels. Watch Lucas, and to be fair, he has got the Ferrari in his sights, but he hasn't really got very close at all. It is Lucas who needs to win, and it's Mikhail who needs the DNF for Lucas to even have a chance in this championship. Like I've said many times, but it's just not going to happen, is it? Mikhail actually seems to be reeling in the leader a little bit, but then he starts to drop off. There really is not too much to say at this point in time. Beachels hasn't done his usual and make loads of progress up the pitch. He's just up the pitch. Wow, I've got my football head on clearly. Oh, sorry, I've absolutely destroyed the microphone as well. My bad. I'm so sorry. Also, I apologise if I was a little bit quiet. I couldn't get my microphone fixed up properly before. I've just sorted it out now. Mikhail is actually starting to reduce that gap to Coys, and Lucas is now within 3 seconds, so Lucas is looking like the race winner at the moment. The gap is dropping, but Lucas's gap to Mikhail, it might also be dropping. Sorry, looking back again, Lucas a second behind still, and he finally picks up that penalty which he was trying so hard to avoid. Now it's become a lot more difficult for the Mercedes driver because he now actually does need to finish first instead of just being within 3 seconds of the leader by the end of the race. I mean, it is out of character for this season to have a race as dull as this. It's basically just a procession of 4 cars. B-Chill's still trailing behind. Well, I do think he is starting to reel in, actually, on Lucas. But as I say that, he drops back to 2.8, so I don't know. Slidey on the rear end there for the Mercedes. That'll cost him. And Coys, I think, is just going to drive off here. But I mean, he has been doing that for so long already. What I mean is that I think that's how the rest of the race is going to go. And that is a crash just as I diverted my eyes to something on my phone, which I was just trying to get the stats up. That is a crash for Lucas. And that means one thing and one thing only. Lucas, I'm so sorry. I didn't even see the incident, and I'm sorry. I was genuinely trying to get some things up on my phone of prior seasons on Aurora Racing League. But Lucas has crashed out, which means only one thing. At the end of this race, there will be one race to go in this season. Even if Mikhail was to crash out now, you cannot get 51 points in one race. It is not possible, even in a sprint weekend. And that means one thing and one thing only. It is this man right here. It may just be an online racing league, but Mikhail, it will surely set in, it will surely resonate with him. This must be a moment of relief. A moment that he will cherish for as long as he will remember it. Because, yes, it's only a racing league online with a few people in. It will surely mean so much more to a man who's come so close so many seasons. He's a formidable competitor. A symbol of perseverance. Consistent performances. Frequent second places in the championships. He's earned himself a reputation for being tantalizingly close, but never quite there. This season, however, his determination and unwavering focus has finally paid off. I'm sure there's been countless sleepless nights, hours of regret, self-hatred, despair. Rayner's just said he will cancel the season. The championship will be void. Unbelievable news just coming in here at Aurora Racing League. What is this? Season 7 has been cancelled by Rayner. Apparently there's been a drug test on Mikhail. He's come back positive for performance-enhancing steroids. He's been expelled from the championship. Lucas wins it all here at Imola. And as the final laps close on us here, we are about to start the one that will finish it all. There is nothing separating this man and his first championship. It is mathematically impossible for him to lose. He has literally won the championship. And he knows it. There is nothing he can do to lose it now. Many times he's come so unbelievably close. But there's always been something that's got in his way. Well, not today. Not this season. His triumph, it's a testament to resilience. Demonstrating that persistence and dedication can ultimately lead to success, no matter how many times one falls short. This victory, it's not just a personal achievement. It's an inspiration to all who strive tirelessly towards their goals. Any adversity, any difficulties, anything that you can think of to do with F1 at least, has stood in this man's way. But there is nothing standing in his way now. Coys will cross the line and win the Grand Prix. It's his second time winning on stream, and he's done 2 on the bounce. An incredible, impressive feat for the McLaren driver. and he should be proud of his performance at the tail end of this season. But all eyes are on this man with only 5 corners left to go of the Imola circuit. Mikhail threw everything that's been tossed at him throughout countless seasons here at Aurora Racing League. He has finally put it to sleep. Coys wins, but Mikhail will cross the line to finally win the Aurora Racing League World Championship, and Mikhail is finally champion of the world. Maybe it was an anticlimactic way to end the season for the World Championship, the Drivers' Championship. Congratulations to Coys. Another race, another win, back to back for the McLaren driver. He had a dry setup. He's come home victorious. But it's Mikhail that will be getting celebrated today. The man from Czechia is finally victorious. And he is the Aurora Racing League World Champion. And if this is my final season, what a poetic way to end. I started with a Mikhail loss, so close to a win, but a Mikhail loss nevertheless. And I'm going to end in a Mikhail victory. And I think finally, for him at least, the hard work has paid off. Mikhail stands victorious, but it's not over yet for Aurora Racing League. We have still got one more race to come. Abu Dhabi. Saturday, next week, 7 days time. You can watch the battle for second place, Lucas and Coys battling it out for second place. Lucas, you will be there next week, won't you? So comfortably in second place, the only man who could actually dethrone Mikhail this season for so long, but ultimately nothing was getting in his way from the championship. Lucas, another finish basically gone a begging, and he is now looking like maybe he might even concede P2 in the standings as well. Well, that concludes the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. And there's discussions of next week's race not even being on. Hopefully it is. Give me a minute. Okay, so I think we should be getting a race next week. Yep, that's confirmed by Rainer. So, final stream from me at least will be next week. So, if you want to tune into that, I would greatly appreciate it. If not, it is what it is. Let's say for some unforeseen reason I'm not here next week, I would just like to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you to everyone in Aurora Racing League, whoever has been in Aurora Racing League. There's so many people. I mean, I'm just going to name a few off the top of my head that aren't here anymore that I can just think of. Banter Brandon Topo, Vincenza, Forrest Jump. Oh, I miss that guy. What a race driver he was. That's just to name a few. Dirty Spy, I haven't seen him in ages and ages and ages. I think he must be gone. And who was it? Young Leader as well. I think, is Young Leader gone? He might be. I think Young Leader's gone these days as well. Randro, yeah, of course. I do remember Randro. What happened to him? I think he used to beef with someone quite a lot, but I remember Randro. He was a nice guy. I used to message him like off stream. He was all right. No worries, Lucas. My voice is going. This league has done irreparable damage to my vocal cords. But no, genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, did I find this a boring race to commentate? Yeah, it was pretty boring. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. It wasn't great, no. But yeah. It's just how it goes. But no, like I say, genuinely from the bottom of my heart, thank you to everyone who's ever been associated with this league. Genuinely has been such a fun time. I know I've not been here all the time, I've not been consistent. But that's just life. It genuinely made my Saturday evenings a lot more fun. Hopefully I am there next week. But if not, I guess this is goodbye for now. So, hopefully not for the final time. From me and everybody else here at Aurora Racing League. wherever you are in the world. Good morning, good afternoon, or good night.